Alright YouTube, I'm Rap from Rap's Garage Shop, and if you can't tell by the way I'm dressed, it's cold. I got my kerosene heater going right next to me, and I'm going to do the next step on getting my bad boy back together so this spring I can ride it. That's what I'm talking about. Don't forget to do this, please, helps my channel. If you're watching any of my last couple of videos, I got the rocker box covers on and the intake in. Now I'm going to set the adjustable push rods. These lifters have S&S travel limiters in them. I used to call them lifter limiters. I did find out that you just can't buy just a limiter kit anymore and install them in your factory lifters. So now you have to buy the lifters with them already in there. I bought the kit back when I put the cam in this bike, and that was back in '97. I put the EV27 cam in it, and I put the travel limiters in. So I took them out of stock tappets and put them in my new tappets to save me a few bucks. Anyhow, I'm going to go over the paperwork on how to adjust these. The adjustable push rods I'm using are made by V Thunder. The part number is EVL E-7001R. Hopefully you can see that there. Now, for anyone keeping score on these are 24 threads per inch on the adjuster. The threads per inch aren't as important as you would think. Anytime you're adjusting Harley lifters, or even with these S&S travel lifters, you want to adjust it out to 0 lash. Then you want to keep taking it until the hydraulic plunger is bottomed out and you're starting to open the valve. Once you have that done, you shorten a push rod by 1 full turn to 1.5 turns. The problem with the Evos is the tolerances on the lifters are so tight that it can take 20 to 30 minutes for the lifter to bleed down. So you have to make sure that if you do have oil in that lifter, that you give it a turn, you let it sit. If you come back and you can move it with your fingers, you give it some more, you'll come back 20, 30 minutes later. If you can move it with your fingers, you got to do it again. You give it some more. And then when you come back and you can't turn it, then you adjust the push rod shorter until you can turn it with your fingers. And once you have that point, that means the piston's all the way down. Then that's when you shorten it that 1 full turn or 1.5 turn. If you're doing a shovel head, it's a lot easier. You can just take that plunger out of the shovel head. You can get all the oil out of it and get the oil out of the adjuster and everything, and then when you put it together dry, it's real easy to bottom it out with your fingers. You'll know when you're there. But the Evos are totally different. Now, since I did put the S&S travel limiters in these lifters, I did get all the oil out of them, except for a very small film, but they're empty. So getting them down to where the plunger's bottomed out isn't going to be a problem, as you'll see. One of the most important parts of this job, besides getting the adjustment of the push rod correct, is making sure you're on the base circle of the cam. Now I'm going to show you how to do that. It's not hard to do, but you really have to pay attention to what you're doing. So to explain this, they always talk about getting on top dead center of the compression stroke. Now the piston will come to top dead center 2 times, and the cam will only make 1 rotation. Now you could be at top dead center, but you can be at top dead center when the exhaust and the intake are both open a little bit, and they are open at the same time for a little bit. But what happens is, as the piston's coming up to expel the exhaust gas, that exhaust valve's open, and then when it's getting near top dead center, it closes and the intakes valve is opening to pull in that fresh charge of fuel and air. You don't want to be at that top dead center. That's why they say top dead center at the compression stroke. So just follow along. This part's real easy. So I'm going to do the front cylinder first, and I'm not sure if you can see, but the exhaust lifter is up higher than the intake lifter is right now. So I already know that I'm not on top dead center on the compression stroke. So to do this procedure, you need both spark plugs out. I have the bike in 5th gear, and I'm just going to rotate the back tire. Now, a lot of people say to use a straw here. I've used various things. In this case, I'm going to use a pencil to set a good example. But you can see that that pencil goes down to here. That piston's at the bottom of the stroke right now. So I'm just going to bring it up by bumping the rear wheel in the forward position. So I just bumped it around to the compression stroke, and when we go around, you'll see that both lifters are all the way down. Not sure how well you can see that on camera, but they are both all the way down at this point. So there you can see it. I'm sure a lot of people know that the stock Harley Davidson push rods are 4 different lengths, But these aftermarket ones, there's two different lengths. I have it lined up here, and you can see that they're two different lengths. The longer ones go on the exhaust, which is the outside. The reason they're longer on the outside is because it's further away from the cam. So make sure you don't miss that. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the big O-rings in where the tubes sit in here. After you put the O-rings in, you put this thin washer in on top of those. And then you have two more O-rings. One's fatter than the other. The skinnier one goes around the tube. The fatter one goes up here in the head. I put these on the end of the tube and then let the tube push it into the head. So to assemble these, I put the push rod through the upper tube. I put the fat O-ring on the end of here. Next thing you want to do is put the spring cover over top the tube, then the spring, then this washer, then the O-ring, and then the lower tube. You can see this lower tube has a flare on it, and that's for the O-ring. It's best to do the inner one first because it's a little harder to get to if the outer one's already on. So I grab one of the shorter ones, I put it through everything. Now I put it up here, in, and then bring it right in. Now you want to extend it by hand. Once I get it extended a little longer, I show you another little tech tip. To hold the tube up out of the way, I use a clothespin. I've seen other guys where they get a rubber band and a couple paper clips and it holds it up, but this is the way I've always done it. And you can see that that clothespin is well used. So now to get the jam nut up, I use the 1/4-inch wrench. And that kind of holds the tube up while I'm doing it. Now I'm just going to extend it some more. And the nice thing about the clothespin is it's not tight enough that it stops me from turning it. Now lift the jam nut a little more. At this point I'll put the 1/4-inch wrench on the other side of the jam nut. You just kind of go back and forth with this until you get to where you need it. Now I'm just about at 0 lash. So I'm going to just take it real slow to 0 lash. I'll hold it with this. Just turn it easy. In fact, I'm going to take the clothespin off of it so I can feel. And right there, I'm just getting ever so slight amount of resistance. So that's 0 lash right there. Because all the oil is out of these lifters, I'm going to be able to take it down by hand until it starts to press on the valve spring. And that's right there. Now that it has the lifter completely collapsed, I want to come back one full turn. And one full turn is going to be 6 flats. That means shortening it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's one full turn that you shorten the push rod. And now you want to take and you want to jam nut it. So the way I do this is I leave the 1/4-inch wrench on there. I take 2 1/2-inch wrenches and then I just move the jam nut. Now that I have the jam nut good and tight, that one's adjusted. At this point, you push it down in the lower O-ring, and then you extend the tube and you pop the upper O-ring in there. It takes a little bit, but when it goes in, you can feel it right there. Last thing you do is you put the chrome cover on. I know they sell a special tool for this. The way I've always done it is like this. You put it up in there. Now I just take a screwdriver. I come around, I get the top of that spring cover. I push it down. And I do that. And I don't need any special tools. And then I just line it up. I give everything a shake to make sure everything's seated properly. And now I'm going to do the other 3 off camera. Now that I have the front done, I'm going to do the rear. And I've been asked this a couple times, so I wanted to point it out. When you do the rear push rods, you have to be top dead center on the compression stroke on the rear also, not the front. Of course, now it's going to be harder to spin the motor over because you're now compressing the valve springs on the front cylinder as you're doing it. So I'll do that off camera and then put the push rods in off camera also. So now I have the push rods in and all adjusted. I am going to spin the rear wheel to spin the motor over at least 2 times and make sure I don't hear any funny noises or I don't have any metal to metal contact. But you should also listen in case something's not straight up in here, if there's any rubbing up in here, because any rubbing here would eventually put metal through the motor. I highly recommend anytime you're bumping the motor over to use the rear wheel. If you use the starter and you hit something, it'll be too late. You'll have already bent it. So there you go. It spun just like it was supposed to. No funny noises. Thank you for watching, and do this. Write in the comments below if you need any help. Hopefully I can respond and help you.